Welcome to Fence Post Politics, the only source for unfiltered, nonsensical, fake-ish news that you never asked for. With your hosts, Matt McKinley and Aaron Ellis. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Wednesday. I really hope you guys had a good Independence Day. Hope you had fun. I really enjoyed it. I kind of wanted to recap some of the stuff. We unfortunately, once again, Aaron has got the Roni baloney, and he's incapacitated and coming hot off the heels. Emphasis on the hot off the heels of Pride Month. We don't like to assume testing. So he is not COVID positive. He is COVID non-binary. And that is I think that distinction is important. So anyhow, thoughts and prayers. He'll probably be fine. Dick might fall off. We're not real for sure. We're on like the super Omicron variant. So, we'll see. Like I said, thoughts and prayers, and throw a little salt over your shoulder too, maybe just for good luck. It was kind of a shitty weekend for some people. If you lived in the cities, well, not all cities, but Chicago in particular, Philadelphia. I heard something about Wisconsin. I don't know what the fuck with all these shootings, and I hate to bring give these douchebags any more credit than they're worth, but you know, I was we went full white trash for 4th of July because we can. This is America, goddammit. So, my wife on her way back from Colorado stopped in at her mom's, and she brought back with her the above ground pool that they had as a kid. And after putting a couple different patches on it and a whole bunch of water, it is still holding water, and we got us an above ground pool like any good rednecks should have. And so I had my kids tootling around in the pool. I had my nieces tootling around in the pool, and I was kind of sitting back watching the deal. And I had a small brisket on the smoker, and it turned out really, really nice. My wife made some bomb ass jalapeno popper dip, and it was just a good day. And I was watching these kids tool around in this white trash masterpiece that we created, and I was scrolling through Twitter, just kind of whatever. I like watching 4th of July fails as well. You know, whether it be fireworks or what the hell ever. It's usually fireworks because it's America, damn it. And nothing makes me laugh harder than somebody getting hurt hilariously. So, like, if you want to get a good reaction from me, that's usually the way to do it, is somebody getting hurt in a hilarious fashion. And so I'm looking for those, and then see a couple of headlines, and start going through and kind of trying to find out what the hell is going on there it's like Highland Park or some shit like that, suburb of Chicago, which they are very prominently have pointed out in a couple different articles that it is a affluent, mostly white suburb, which means like, hey, all those black gang members that shoot each other every weekend that we ignore, well, this time it's white people, so we gotta cover it, and we gotta cover it properly because there were whites involved. And yeah, so it's all over the news, and this dude was on the roof shooting a high-powered rifle, whatever that means, high-powered. It's the 20 volt version or something, high-powered, extra torque. But I'm sure that'll be a talking point where it's just like we're gonna outlaw rifles anymore because they blow the lungs right. Or no, it's the 5.56 is what decapitates somebody, and the 9mm is what blows the lungs out of the chest. So anyway, high-powered rifle killed like 7 people, 25 or so went to the hospital. Awful deal, tragic, and fuck this guy. So anyway, I don't like to give this douchebag any more credit than he deserves, but I will make fun of him because just look at this piece of shit. He's like a weird homeschool kid looking face, but also mixed with like a heroin addict in Seattle, mixed with Earthworm Jim and possibly Stretch Armstrong after it's been stretched out too many times, and then with like Post Malone tattoos. This is a real piece of work. Here's some of his drawings that apparently people knew about, cops knew about, and Illinois being a red flag state, not that I'm in favor of red flag laws, but they obviously didn't work on this one. What a giant piece of shit. So then he also goes along and he does the shooting, and then I think he left the gun at the scene. I don't know for sure on that. But then he dresses up as a drag queen, and because it's rich part of Chicago, and it's parade, so might as well just get all dragged up, and that's how he escaped. And there he is, face down. With I wonder if they knelt on his back for 9 minutes or whatever. Yeah, but fuck that guy. I eventually, it was amazing to me how big or how quickly a rabbit hole of information was available on this guy. So I was scrolling through and was like, what the hell's going on over there? And then it quickly, as you scroll down, it just turns into people like, oh, this guy is a MAGA Trumper, and this is why the January 6th committee is so important, or some shit like that. And then there's other people saying like, no, he's not. He's never MAGA. He'll never be MAGA. He's Antifa, and they've both got pictures of him. And then there's another one I saw. Was it real? Fuck if I know. I don't know, but I saw it. It was a screenshot, and it showed him wearing an FBI ball cap. So you're just like, oh shit. So it was Independence Day. I got my kids and my nieces having fun in the yard. We got good meat on the grill, on the smoker. We got cold beer. We got plenty of good food. It was an absolutely fucking gorgeous day, 85, like a light little breeze coming off the pine nuts, and it was a perfect day, and I wasn't gonna let this fucking idiot ruin my day. So I stopped looking at it from there. Enjoyed. We had a little fireworks show in Smith Valley. Somebody has spent a bunch of money of their own money to set up a little show, so it wasn't much, but we could see it from across the valley, and I didn't have to leave my yard, and that was pretty nice. So, yeah, fuck this guy, whatever his name is, some wannabe rapper, and God knows how many fucking medications he was on, and yeah, fuck him. I hope he gets convicted quickly. And it's Illinois, so they won't put him to death. But it's funny. In some of the pictures I saw of him, he had pink hair on one side and right down the middle. Parted right down the middle, and it was blue on one side and pink on the other. And I was listening to, I think, the Drinking Bros, They were talking about how this kid probably never been laid, and I think that's a big part of a lot of these mass shootings, in particular the school shootings. It's what they call involuntary celibates, and it's not that they don't want to have sex; they're just not they're not able to. They have not been able to just do the little, just the tip even. They just and so that makes them angry, and then they take it out on the world. Well, ladies, this might be a good learning opportunity for everybody. Now that your fundamental right that exists above all, the right to kill your child, has been stricken down, stripped away from you in some states. And solution to this is go find these weirdo kids that really need laid. And well then, if you get pregnant, that kind of sucks. But hey, maybe you stop the school shooting. That's terrible life advice, but it might work. Fuck, it's throw something at the wall. Maybe I don't know. There was also like a shooting of a unarmed black guy. It turns out he was only unarmed while he was on foot. Turns out the dude was on a high-speed chase, or it was Akron, Ohio. And I was like, what the fuck? Because they lit this dude up. I mean, lit him up. They fired something like 90 rounds and 60 rounds hit him. And I was like, God damn, this is going to spark some riots. And it probably will still. But upon further inspection, seems like he was like shooting at the cops as, they caught him on traffic cameras, and he was like shooting at the cops as he was leading them on a high-speed chase. Then the guy gets out, or stops, shoots at him again, takes off running, and he like turns and reaches for his hip, and or looked like to anyway. I don't know. At that point, they've been shot at a bunch of times, and he's turning back at him, so they lit him the fuck up. What the story was, I don't know. It seems that they were pulling him over for a routine traffic stop. So if that's the case, I don't know why the guy ran, and also I don't know why it turned into a shooting match. But it'll cause some riots, and the same old thing that will happen. Republicans will ignore the police brutality aspect of things and the race relations, and claim they don't exist. And on some cases they don't, or they do to a certain extent or to a lesser extent. But anyhow, that will get glossed over by the Republican side of things. The Democrats will do everything they can to push gun control and somehow pin this on Trump. And I just want to say, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. I don't care if he was Republican or Democrat or communist or fascist. I don't care if he was I don't care if he was a Scientologist. Fuck him. Fuck that guy. Ruined a lot of people's holiday weekend. You and further inflamed tensions across the country, and 7 people lost their lives, and dozens others got injured. And fuck everything about that guy. He's involuntary celibate, but he's got pink hair and blue hair. So is he a non-binary? Is that what you do because you can't get laid? And that's how the Weasley guys, they always try to, like, they get friend zoned. They always get friend zoned, except this one, it's like even more kind of self-inflicted. So like, then this is pure speculation, but I bet you I'm not too far from it. Like the cool thing now is, like, used to be emo or goth kids, or like the punk rockers back in the day, or the rockabilly guys like the Greasers. But now it's the trans and whatever shade of the rainbow flag that you fall under. And so, like, and then even before these guys, they're ladies, gents, non-binary folks, peoples with vaginas. You can't call them women anymore. Well, we can now for a little bit while this Roe v. Wade thing is still stewing. But we'll get back to that here in a minute. But I don't even know where I was going. Anyhow, so like before these sexuality, gender spectrum people arrived on the scene, it was all like feminist. And so then you had the male feminists who were really just guys trying to get laid, and they were doing it in the lamest, gayest possible way up until that point, which was to become like a radical feminist, but you're a dude. And so like everything became women's rights, and still you're a dude with a dick between your legs. And then they progressed, and then you had like the gay guys were at the top for a little bit until that whole gay marriage thing came down, and then it was on to the next one. And now we have somebody who identifies as a leaf or a porcupine or some shit like that, or also they're the pansexual, which means they'll fuck anything. I think it doesn't mean that they fuck a pan that you cook in. I found that out. I know it's a tired old joke, but so is he using that deal? Like he's now non-binary to get in good with the chicks at the next protest or whatever, but it all leads to a dead end, because to get in good with them, you have to like abandon your sexuality, which is really like you want to put your dick in a vagina, because that's kind of the natural way of doing things, with some exceptions for the truly gay fellas. But for all these newbies, like it's that they're too lazy to go through the gay shit, the actual gay shit. They just want to like be gay but not do gay. And but you gotta label yourself as some sort of other than heterosexual to get in good. And so then you get in good with them, but it's never going to go anywhere, because like you've boxed yourself into this corner, you painted yourself into the corner that you're not into the heterosexual stuff, and you're mysterious, because that's that's what people like. They like the mysterious stuff. So you can't really tell them that you're just secretly just into chicks, because that's too normal and that's not mysterious at all. So you got to keep them guessing. And the whole time you're just yearning to get into that sweet, sweet teenage crush pussy, and you can't do anything about it. And therefore you're involuntarily celibate, and you're pissed off with the world, and you go shoot up a Independence Day parade. Fuck that guy. Just grow a set of nuts and go talk to a chick. Like that's a good start. Even if she shoots you down, then you realize like, oh, it's not. No, it's just words. Okay, try again. Try a different plan. Whatever. It's a good thing to get shot down every now and then, because the good thing about it is at least you're fucking trying. And I don't know, these kids nowadays, get off my fucking lawn. This is Independence Day, and fuck this kid. On a funnier note, I found it kind of funny. We had a Patriot Front march in Boston. The most unapologetically racist city, but also still somehow like a liberal bastion. Oh, maybe it's because the progressives are secretly racist. But large group of people carrying flags and shields marched along downtown Boston's Freedom Trail. And video footage of the group obtained by CNN shows the flags bearing the symbol of the white nationalist Patriot Front group. So this apparently is the same group that was clown card up in they were part of a clown collar operation up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. A certain person who lives up there, I believe, was not involved, contrary to popular beliefs. Anyhow, you know who you are if you're listening. Anyway, they were supposedly from this group Patriot Front, which, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, is like just akin to Hitler, I think. But of course, Southern Poverty Law Center will name anybody a racist group. For I know I've mentioned it a time or two on here, but like if you notice when you're reading a news article and they'll like a black person, black is capitalized, so capital B, black. White is not. So, but I could see like that used to not be a thing. Like pretty recently, that was not a thing. So I could see how a journalist could write "my black friend" but not capitalize the B, and you know, be an honest to God mistake, because you know who can keep up with all these fucking rules anymore. But Southern Poverty Law Center would be like that by the fact that he did not go out of his way to capitalize the B in black. That shows severe problematic racist undertones, and yeah, now you're on a hate group list. So congratulations to this Patriot Front. I don't know what they did. I'd never heard of them. It's funny how many of these so-called white nationalist groups that nobody has ever heard of until they're made famous by these media outlets for marching. Like you drew far more attention to them than they would have garnered on their own. So it's almost like it's stoking a divide or anything, you know. So like, you know, it couldn't be like the divide and conquer method or distraction to, you know, distract you from real issues. Couldn't be that. No way that could be it. So anyhow, this was a big headline that was trending because you know, the holiday that celebrates the birthday of our founding as a country is now essentially like declared a domestic terrorist activity. So that's cool. And they showed video. These guys apparently they had like a Mussolini flag or something. Which, who the fuck not only knows what a Mussolini flag looks like in this day and age, but like knows where to find one? I mean, because if we're talking World War II, Hitler gets the most attention. It's not even a close second. But in second place is Stalin by a pretty wide margin. And like Mussolini gets like he's almost like an honorable mention. He gets mentioned alongside it with Hitler. But like as far as I can tell, there's no like true Mussolini junkies out there. I mean, I'm sure there is. Rule number 32 of the internet. You know, if you can think about it, it exists on the internet and probably in a porn. So there's probably some just hardcore Mussolini fans just pounding out some fascist friendly chick in a porn somewhere out there on the internet. But I don't know where you would. I mean, I guess Google would be a good enough place to search, but they're going to be sharing that data with the NSA. So you might want to go to a lesser used search engine, and also VPN. But then you can, I guess, you just type in Mussolini flags and see where that leads you. But like I said, that would probably also get you put on another watch list. Anyhow, then there was allegations of they roughed up this black guy who was confronting them. And but from what I can tell, from what I read, there was no charges filed, and it was essentially just this one guy saying he got attacked. So benefit of the doubt, he probably did or whatever. I don't know. But there's been way too many of what Dave Chappelle called them, Juicy Smolier, accounts here lately. So take that with a grain of salt. Outside of that, they marched in Boston and apparently triggered a bunch of people. But they're really quick to point out their Patriot Front, which is they were quick to point out that's what the Coeur d'Alene people were. And up until the Coeur d'Alene deal, I'd never heard of this Patriot Front deal. And I follow politics pretty closely, and I like to see like what the fringe groups are saying. I don't follow them, but I like check in to see what they're saying from time to time. And you got the Proud Boys, you got the Oath Keepers, you got the 3%ers, you got the different like militia groups, but I've never heard of this Patriot Front up until they found the clown car, which was a U-Haul with 31 of these jokers, supposedly going to go cause a riot. They're charged with that conspiracy to riot at the Pride Parade in Coeur d'Alene. And an anonymous tip from just a good citizen was called into the police department. They were apprehended with shields and masks over their face. They were wearing like the neck gaiters. And that was a big deal too. That was a big headline. And at the end of the day, on both occasions, well, I'll take that. On the first occasion, nothing happened. Every one of those guys bonded out of jail on like a $250 bail, and they're facing a misdemeanor. So, okay, and they also all happen to look like federal agents. Not saying they are, sure what they look like, and then this deal in Boston, they were marching. If they did indeed rough up this black guy, then probably, they ought to get charged and sentenced and all that good stuff. Charged, convicted, sentenced, all that. If that actually is the case, then so be it. Let justice be served. But outside of that, nothing happened. But boy, they caused a lot of headlines. Because, like I said, 4th of July, it's a domestic terrorist holiday anymore. Well, that's like I said, technically what it started out as anyway. So, according to the British monarchy, us declaring that we were independent would be an act of terrorism. So, I guess happy Domestic Terrorism Day. Anyhow, Joe Biden's he's not doing so hot. He's feeling the pinch. After a string of Supreme Court setbacks, Democrats wonder whether Biden White House is capable of urgency the moment demands. This is a good one, folks. This is a hot topic here. Deborah Messing was fed up. The former Will and Grace star was among dozens of celebrity Democrat supporters and activists who joined a call with White House aides last Monday to discuss the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe v. Wade. The mood was fatalistic, according to 3 people on the call, which was also co-organized by the advocacy group Build Back Better Together. Messing said she'd gotten Joe Biden elected and wanted to know why she was being asked to do anything at all, yelling that there didn't even seem a point to voting. Others wondered why the call was happening. That afternoon, participants received a follow-up email with a list of basic talking points and suggestions of Biden's speech clips to share on TikTok. They're not even like trying to hide the collaboration between Hollywood and media and the Democratic Party anymore. Deborah Messing. I don't know what she does. I know they said she was on Will and Grace. I never watched Will and Grace. That was in its heyday. I was probably younger than 6th grade. So not something my mom would have let me watch in the first place, but then wouldn't have mattered because we had one of those TV antennas and got struck by lightning. TV was fine, but it fried the little receiver box that you run your cable in, then run your cable up to the antenna itself, and you'd have to turn it, hold it, depending on how the wind was blowing. Anyhow, yeah, so ours got fried, and so we lived, still to this day at my dad's house, it's just nothing but a TV and movies, whether DVD or VHS. So, I'm not a Will and Grace fan. I'm not saying I wouldn't be a fan. I've never watched it. Probably wouldn't be a fan. But so if that's what she's known from, I know her from Twitter. She's pretty regularly tweets out some just bonkers shit. But outside of that, I don't know what the fuck she is. She's your standard radical lefty Hollywood person, and but apparently she was pissed off on that. Like, why is there they've got such a train wreck on their hands, but they've got to they've got to throw it back to Deborah Messing and TikTok. Got to put some clips of Biden on TikTok, and because that's a brilliant idea. There's no way that somebody would record their own reaction to Biden's I don't even know what you'd call his performances nowadays, but anyway, I'm sure that would not get made fun of on TikTok and Instagram. But anyhow, Deborah Messing, apparently former TV stars, pissed off, and also so is the Mexican president. What do we call this guy? So this is about Ken Salazar. Where is that? And Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. He's the president of Mexico. And I come across this article on Drudge, but I highlighted it because I know this guy. Well, I don't know him well, but I've met the guy a couple times. And my dad knows him decently well, used to anyways. They actually campaigned together. But Ken Salazar is from San Luis Valley in Colorado, over by Alamosa. I'm not sure exactly what town he's from, but somewhere in San Luis Valley. And he was a state senator at the time when my dad was running for state representative. But Ken was running for U.S. Senate. He was going from state Senate to U.S. Senate. And that was in 2004. Yeah, 2004. And so that was my first election. And I voted for Ken Salazar. He was a pretty moderate, like almost conservative Democrat from rural Colorado. Seemed like a pretty good guy. He served 4 years there under the second Bush administration, and then was nominated to Interior Secretary under Obama. And once he went to Washington, he fell right into that whole Democratic Party deal. But essentially, Mexican this is a big long article. I don't want to read the whole thing. I actually recorded this earlier, and then something was wrong with my audio, and it was a whole thing, and now I'm re-recording it. But I read through a lot of this article before, but it's a long one. But essentially, when Trump was president, Trump held tariffs over this dude's head and said, we're going to kick all these tariffs up and up and up until you do your part to secure the fucking border. And he said, if you do that, I don't care what you do domestically. Now Biden's in office, and they're trying to get real buddy and charm the pants off of Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, something like that. AMLO is what his nickname is. I learned in that article. So that's a fun little tidbit. Anyhow, Biden administration tries to play buddy with him, and but also he has this contention that he was screwed out of an election in 2006. The U.S. government's official position is that they accept the results of that, but like Trump, this AMLO fella, Mexican president, is still bringing up that 2006 election, and Ken Salazar is kind of entertaining the idea, from what I understand. And in the meantime, they all kind of feel like this president of Mexico is just kind of leading old Ken Salazar along by his nose, just keeping him on a leash and then fucking him over. And in the meantime, the biggest wave of illegal immigration is now coming from Mexico again, and not Central America like it was during most of the Trump years. So, also, he is this Mexican president is really upset about this non-governmental organization, U.S. based, U.S. funded, who is doing work with the opposition party, opposed to this Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. So you can kind of see why he would not be real friendly to the Biden administration. He'd also snubbed Biden on the world stage by organizing a bunch of other Latin American countries to skip the Summit of the Americas, or whatever it was called, and which was kind of seen as like a big slap in the face, and seeing as how we're neighbors with Mexico, and when the whole big rant on that deal. But that just kind of highlights what I was saying, is like that whole country is corrupt, and it is right there on our southern border, and it seems like we're doing little to nothing to try and remedy that. But anyhow, in the meantime, this Mexican president's really pissed off because we are funding a group of people. They call themselves like Mexicans Against Corruption and Impunity, and this group in particular, concerns have been raised by the Mexican president to the ambassador, Ken Salazar, and the response from the government is that we're not going to cut funding to this group that is actively working to essentially, not, I wouldn't say overthrow, but defeat, oust this guy. But I bet if you would look real close at where the funding for this non-governmental organization comes from outside of the federal government, I bet you'd come to a lot of a dead end and a bunch of empty paper trails. But if you unraveled all that somehow, you'd find out it come back to either DHS or DEA or CIA, any one of these, ATF, just who knows what branch of the federal government is actually trying to overthrow this Mexican president, because that's sure what it looks like. And it's funny, they publicly say they want to keep a good relationship with this president. At the same time, they're not going to stop sending money to these people that are trying to get him out of office. So at least it's a little closer to the Monroe Doctrine. I mean, I guess if we're going to meddle, it would make sense to meddle in Mexico more than it would to meddle in Ukraine. So maybe that's a good sign. We're moving closer to home. Probably not. But guy can hope, huh? But that's all leading to the fact that people are not real happy with Biden, and his approval numbers are sinking. And it's funny, like you had the new. I'm gonna start just calling her Black Lesbo Pasaki, the new press secretary. She is a big dum dum. But they were asking, is Biden going to run? And she's like, oh, stop. He's so energetic. I can't even keep up. And then they asked AOC if she was going to support him. And she's like, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We got work to do now. We'll talk about that when the time comes. So it wasn't a no exactly. But anyway. Here's a little op-ed I found. I thought this was really, really just quite delightful. Now more than ever, Democrats need Hillary Clinton by Douglas E. Schoen, opinion contributor. So basically, he's shitting on how Biden has been ineffective, and people, particularly on the progressive side of things, are really not happy with him. So anyway, earlier this year, I co-authored a piece for the Wall Street Journal that argued that a perfect storm in the Democratic Party is making a once unfathomable scenario a comeback for Hillary, which that scenario being a comeback for Hillary Clinton in 2024, highly plausible. Our reasoning was that Biden's low approval rating, doubt about his capacity to run again, Vice President Harris's unpopularity, and the absence of another strong Democrat to lead the ticket have created a leadership vacuum within the party that only Clinton, as an experienced and politically savvy change candidate, can fill. Change candidate. I love that they put it in quotes because, the only thing different about Hillary Clinton from the last 40, 50 years of American politics is that she allegedly has a vagina. But we can't just distinguish women anymore because, as you know, you're all aware, like us men, slowly but surely just taking over everything. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Like, I'll expand on that here in a minute. But in light of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, upending decades of precedent and revoking a constitutional right that American women have enjoyed for half a century, the case for Clinton's candidacy is even clearer. You enjoyed it for a little bit, but I know it's your most fundamental right, women, to get rid of that little shit. But no more in some states. Regardless of one's own political affiliation or opinion of Clinton, the country knows her as an experienced politician. That part's 100% true. And a champion of women's rights. Well, women's rights don't matter anymore because women's rights are trans rights. And that's what takes precedence now, where this is 2022. Get with the program, Hilldawg. From her declaration at the United Nations in 1995 that women's rights are human rights, women's rights or trans rights are human rights, to being the first woman nominated as a major party's candidate for president in 2016, where she lost to a reality TV host who's a walking cartoon character. She offers the exact type of leadership that the Democratic Party desperately needs. Whether or not party leaders will admit it, Democrats know they need to move on from Biden if they want to stay in the White House in 2024, and, even more importantly, have a fighting chance at building a sufficient majority through Congress to advance any element of their agenda going forward, including and especially codifying abortion rights, that one sacred, precious right that women have and none others. That's it. You got the right to get rid of that little crotch goblin, and that's it. No other rights. Sorry, ladies. I don't make the rules. I just talk about them. Put another way, the stakes are simply too high for Democrats to remain on this slowly sinking ship. Democrats are headed for a blowout loss in November, even worse than in 94 and 2010. Biden's approval rating is lower than both Obama's and Clinton's at the same point in their presidency. And Americans in 2022 are less satisfied with the direction of the country, more negative about the economy, and more disapproving of Congress. Polls generally show Republicans with a lead of at least 2 or 3 points in the 2022 generic vote for Congress. That's more like an 8 to 9 point lead because, I'll keep reading. This advantage would likely give the GOP a solid majority in the House, considering the favorable Republican rulings in redistricting, blah, 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 as well as the likelihood that Republican turnout will be even higher than most pollsters are currently accounting for. That's why, back in 2016, when they talked about the pollsters getting it so wrong, and they still continue. They just they've had the stats with Democrats by a lot. 5 to 8% is what I have heard and read on certain different platforms. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly which ones, but anyhow, while Biden was the right person to defeat former President Trump in 2020, he is clearly not the right person to lead the Democratic Party going forward, as only 36% of Democrats believe that Biden gives them the best chance to win the presidency in 2024. To be sure, Democrats' confidence in Biden will only decline further after the party experiences a shellacking in the midterm elections. He is really shitting on them going in the midterms. Like, he really thinks they're going to lose. These voters will be looking for a change candidate who is experienced, effective, savvy, and committed to the issues they care most about, namely women's rights and civil rights. Just get with the times, you old bat. Trans rights are women's rights. Okay? Women's rights are trans rights. And we're just going to send a bunch of men over and we'll just slowly just outsource the job of woman to, I guess, just make babies all the time. I mean, that's where we're headed, and it's going to be fine. You ladies will do just fine. 100% sure of it. Guaranteed. At that point, Clinton will have a unique opportunity to position herself as an experienced candidate capable of leading Democrats on a more successful path, who will also fight, as she has done her entire career, for trans rights. It says women's rights, but we know women's rights are trans rights. Anyhow, then he also goes on to shit on Kamala Harris because, and this is a guy writing this deal because she didn't speak up loudly enough in favor of trans rights. Also known as women's rights in this article. But what I really loved and I appreciate a bunch from, the Veep is she wants us to think about how this Roe v. Wade decision is going to affect our sons and their decisions too. It's that important. And you know what? I love that the vice president of these United States knows that you can't just make a statement without letting the men dominate the conversation at all times. So thank you to the vice president of these United States, Kamala Harris, for acknowledging that, we're going to make decisions. We really need to think about the men first and foremost. Ultimately, Clinton is the only prominent Democrat with the experience, the campaign infrastructure, the political know-how, and the proven track record who can win a general election. She has no proven track record at winning a general election. As Fox News Channel's Juan Williams wrote earlier this week, Democrats need a strong voice ready to fight to restore women's rights now that the Supreme Court has struck down Roe v. Wade. There's only one Hillary Clinton. Thank God. If Democrats ever want a chance at winning the presidency in 2024, Clinton is, now more than ever, their best chance. And that's the news. Douglas E. Schoen is a political consultant who served as an advisor to former President Clinton and to the 2020 presidential campaign of Michael Bloomberg. So, Democratic Party hack. All told, what they're saying there is Biden ain't got it, obviously. And these younger Democrats are fucking nuts and they can't win anywhere. Like AOC has got all the name recognition and everything. And she will clean house in cities and states like New York and California, particularly in the cities, San Francisco, LA, New York City, Chicago, probably, Philly, all those like Baltimore, super progressive cities. Yeah, AOC would clean house in places like that and nowhere else. Like she ain't gonna win a general election in Iowa or Arkansas or Montana. Unless, I don't know, people are moving to Montana at a rapid rate. Maybe that flooding. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have Jesse Stetson on to talk about the flooding up there in Montana and some of the bullshit that they had to go through, but. On a bright note, maybe, just maybe, that once-in-a-lifetime flood up there will scare enough people to stop moving to Montana. Doubtful, though. So, but given today, like, not a chance AOC is gonna win even, kind of conservative-leaning states. So, and she's by far the most well-known of the younger Democrats, and they just are all just as crazy. So what they're saying is like, Hilldawg, we'll need you one last run. Shake off the old pantsuit and break out the band. We're just gonna go one more time at Glory Days. Glory days. Speaking of glory days, this is neat. QAnon. Q is back. Leader of the QAnon conspiracy returns. 3 posts on Friday night signals the resurfacing of a figure who used a variety of conspiracy theories to marshal support for Donald J. Trump. Oh, and of course we'll have to hear more and more about the QAnon during these January 6th committee hearings. And I really, really wish that this was a legit commission. Like, I wish they would have foregone the impeachment and just went on at him on strictly criminal grounds, but also allow like an actual committee. Like they kicked Jim Jordan off. Like, I want Jim Jordan on there. I want Thomas Massey on there cross-examining these people. Because right now it's just a fucking kangaroo court. But I think there was some really fucked up shit that happened on both sides. And I want to know about it all. So I'm just really, really bummed that they're not having it's not a real committee. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Probably ignore it. Bette Midler is now admitting that women are indeed women. So she needs to be thrown out of a helicopter for interfering with this male supremacy plan to just outsource women completely. She got lit up on Twitter, rightfully so, for exposing our grand plan. But what did she say? Women of the world, we are being stripped of our rights over our bodies, our lives, and even of our name. They don't call us women anymore. They call us birthing people or menstruators or even people with vaginas. Don't let them erase you. every human owes you on Earth owes you. Stunning and brave. And of course, the Twitter mob came after her because that's what they do, I guess. We got food shortages coming up, so that's neat. I won't end on this one, but found this article that it's not. Okay, here we go. It's a series, a pair of articles. See how that phrasing works. Simply looking at food triggers inflammation in the brain and can impair health in overweight people. And this is from gutnews.com. I don't know anything about this site. Researchers from the University of Basel and University Hospital Basel report the sight and smell of food triggers an insulin release. The insulin release depends on a short-term inflammatory response. When this happens in overweight people, inflammatory response is so excessive it can impair insulin secretion. So like if you're trying to lose weight, the best thing to do is stay away from food at all costs. That's what this is saying. And on that note, the good thing about it is supermarkets are putting security tags on cheese blocks to keep you fat fucks from eating all the cheese. So supermarkets put security tags on cheese blocks as stores tackle shoplifting amid soaring food costs. Supermarkets have been spotted adding security tags to basic food items like cheese as the cost of living crisis sees prices spiraling. So this is over in England, and it's probably just going to get worse. But don't worry. If you completely stay away from food, fatty, you can go ahead and lose weight, trim up, be the best self you can be. And you'll be all sorts of proud. We will all be proud. And speaking of proud, I am most proudest from this 2022 Independence Day of Mr. Jason Snell, 47, out of Florida. Florida man with hustle, eat, sleep, repeat tattoo charged with throwing hot dog at police officer. Of course, it's Florida, because why wouldn't it be? A Tampa Bay area man was arrested Saturday for allegedly throwing a hot dog at an officer who warned him he was violating a city ordinance, according to a local report. Jason Stoll, 47, is charged with felony battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer without violence. He wiener whipped a copper, and now he's being charged with a felony battery. Around 12 a.m. Saturday, a St. Petersburg police officer told Stoll he could no longer sell hot dogs in the roadway after his street closure permit ended, according to court documents obtained by WFLA. So this guy was a street vendor selling hot dogs, and then his permit expired, and he kept on selling hot dogs. And they said, "No, sir, this is America. This is Florida. You can't do that." An officer asked Stoll to close up shop, but he continued to try selling a hot dog, the court documents say. Stoll became frustrated and threw a hot dog at the officer, who was in full uniform at the time of the incident, according to the station. Stoll, who lives in Newport Richey, was booked into the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. Online court records show he's out after posting $2,500 bail. The court records note he has many tattoos, including the phrases hustle, eat, sleep, repeat, and what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, among many others. He faces a minimum of 3 years in jail if convicted. He should add a new tattoo and just says wiener whip a cop. Wiener slap a cop. Something like that. Wiener whip, wiener slap, wiener whip. Wiener whip a cop. I've never been to Florida, but I love Florida. Also, take a look at this guy. And Chase, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. But this guy looks like a less intelligent Chase Gibson from Rock and G Cutlery. And nothing against Chase. You just have a very unfortunate doppelganger, or fortunate for that matter, because I'm kind of a fan of this. He's just trying to sell a damn hot dog, and cops are infringing upon his rights as an American. And when you do that, you're going to get wiener whipped. And I'm all in favor. Whip your wieners on cops. And that's what's going to make this country great again. Next 4th of July, next Independence Day, we will liberate. Maybe that's not the right word. Anyway, wiener whip a cop and run like hell. But don't reach for your waistband afterwards either. They'll light you the fuck up. Ask that dude in Akron. Anyhow, I wonder if this guy has a GoFundMe or anything, because I'd donate to his legal fees there. Fuck that cop. He's just trying to sell a hot dog. 12 a.m., the person he was trying to sell it to probably really wanted that hot dog. And guess what? You got it right across the face, dick. So, wiener whip a cop 2022. And move your ass. Oh, hold on. Before that, a few housekeeping. I had a couple people ask me about the Patreon episodes on Spotify, and up until just here recently, that was not available. But now they have a subscription deal on Spotify, and I'll be uploading all the Patreon episodes to there. It's $4.99 a month. I'm also gonna raise my $1 level on Patreon up to $4.99. To make it a little bit more fair. The upper levels will still be there on Patreon, but that way you can at least get all the bonus content on Spotify as well. They're rolling out some video stuff, so be on the lookout. You might be able to watch the episode in the near future, just like you would like a Joe Rogan episode. So anyway, pretty excited about that. And what else was I going to say? I think, also Telegram. I have a Telegram channel. Kate is active on there. I am not very, but I'm going to try to do some more stuff on there. I'm just kind of a boomer when it comes to that, and I don't know how the shit works. And I already got too many social media accounts. It's it's another one, but Kate's in charge there, and I'm sure she does a great job. So check it out. It's telegram.whatever /move your ass. So follow me there. Follow everywhere else. Make sure on YouTube here you got to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications. That'll help. I don't know. Whatever. If you're on social media, please follow, share it if you like it. And thank you all for listening. I do appreciate it. It's pretty wild. Something like almost 700 different viewers or listeners in a 1 week period. So a lot of downloads, and that's a pretty good size audience. So anyway, fucking wild. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and y'all be safe out there. Have a good week, and go wiener whip a cop. Now move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Good guys and bad guys, cowboys and Indians, sinners and saints, masters and minions. They're all the same to me. They're all the same to me. Winners and losers, the weak and the strong ones, the young and the old. passing back.